Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Starlight Beacon Transmissions. This is episode number 90. We've done 90 of these things between audio and live shows, and the party just keeps going. We're here. Tonight we have a very fun show for you. Joining me again, welcome back, Allie Andrews from the Knights of Ren podcast, as well as Darth Ira herself. Ira, welcome back, my friends. How are you both doing?
Life is busy, but I'm good.
Yeah.
Allie, can I share what you
Yeah,
shared
go ahead. I
earlier
mean, it's
this
public
week?
knowledge, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a Disney College Program member with us. Allie Andrews was accepted to the Disney College Program. That's really awesome.
Yay.
Yes, congratulations.
Yay.
Yeah, you get to live on the East Coast for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be interesting. I've lived in the West Coast my whole life, so it'll be different.
Yeah. Get used to snow.
Yeah. Get used to heat and humidity and all that fun stuff. You don't need to be in the SVT live, Ira. I'm kidding. You're fine.
Oh my gosh. I'm so
you're fine.
That's okay.
You're all good. Sorry. I hope that I didn't mean to call you out.
No, it's okay. I always bring up the YouTube so I can see like if anybody's in the chat, and then
it's all good. I'm just messing with you. This is the fun of doing this like this. So anyway, great show for you. We're going to be talking a little bit about Celebration, giving you all a preview of what is to come next week. And of course, we're going to be breaking down the season finale. No, not the season finale. I mean, episode 5 of The Mandalorian, because I don't want to talk about that one season finale. I don't. I
Fair,
do not.
valid.
Because I'll start crying again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I haven't stopped crying. Like, it's rough.
It's
rough.
It really is. Out of all of the characters that they could have killed, they had to kill that character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
They
want to
made
get
it
into
hurt.
it. Oh, it hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt. I'm sorry. I wish that we could all just do like one big group hug right now and just start crying. But we're not going to do that right now, okay? We're this is a happy place. This is a happy place.
Yeah.
We actually are going to talk about how Bo-Katan is the main character of Din Djarin's show now, and that's amazing. So, let's get into it here. Before we get into our news, next week is our Celebration from Home show, because some of us can't be at Celebration. Why'd they choose Europe? Why this year? Did they have to
Gotta
choose Europe?
include them.
Yeah, they
Gotta
gotta
include
them.
everyone.
I know.
It just stinks because,
It does.
money.
I know.
All that.
And I just, I wish I could go to Europe, but it's okay. In June I get to hopefully meet Ashley and James and Matt at AwesomeCon, so I'm excited about
fun.
that. Yeah. Oh, by the way, we are going to be at AwesomeCon, so if any of you in our audience or in our team want to just hang out at AwesomeCon in Washington, D.C. for 3 days, do it. It's fun. It's cheaper than going to Europe for Celebration.
Is it? It's DC.
Yeah, but it's a lot safer than the city that's right near me. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I don't think anywhere here is safe. I would rather
No,
be
that's
in a
true.
galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
Oh, well, me too. I'd rather be spending most of my time on Batu, but that's just me.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's get to the news here. A pretty quiet week for Star Wars news, for the most part. We did have that one season finale with the Bad Batch, which was an incredible finale. But we are all super sad, and yeah, and so we're just gonna pass on that. Uh, this month marks the release of Jedi Survivor. We have 27 days until Jedi Survivor comes out. Super excited about that. How are we feeling about the Jedi Survivor release being right around the corner now? Anybody?
Yeah, I thought Allie was going to talk first. Trying to see. I'm excited. I wish I could. I want to pre-order it because I want to have the Obi-Wan Kenobi outfit. I just, I'm back in school, so. I don't even have time to play video games between working full time, being a mom, being a college student again. It's like I'm very excited and I plan on playing it. I just can't play it right away.
I totally understand. Allie, your thoughts on, or your feelings on being 27 days out from Jedi Survivor?
I don't really know. That's kind of didn't say anything because you all know. Well, most people in this community know I don't really play the video games because my vision. So, I mean, it's there. I'm excited for everyone who's excited to play it, but it doesn't really impact me that much. So,
I totally get it. I totally get it. So let's stick to Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order real quick. There has been a post going around on Twitter recently that this was posted back in January, but it's been making its way around. At one point, when you go through one of the Zepho temples in Fallen Order, and you walk through the temple, and you see petrified Zepho citizens, I have a feeling the Zepho are going to come into play in the High Republic now.
More than likely.
Yeah.
probably.
You think a great leveler might be a villain in one of these games here soon?
That would be amazing. I think it would be really, I think we're entering into a really interesting time for Star Wars where they are starting to make more of the books become part of the other media that is in canon and out of canon, whatever people quantify as canon, whatever you want to say, I don't care.
Yeah.
The point is I'm very excited because they are bridging this gap, and I'm taking my glasses off. They're bridging this gap where now we're going to start seeing more High Republic, like the fact that there is a High Republic era Jedi that looks to be in the new Jedi Survivor game, and the even with it being the Young Jedi Adventures being centered around High Republic, we're starting to get little sprinklings here, and I'm excited, and I hope that they continue to build on that because that's a whole era that's untouched that they can pull source material from now.
Yeah, and especially with the Acolyte being right around the corner too, and we're definitely going to get information on that next week at Celebration. Which I think we're all excited to see what they bring with the Acolyte. Outside of Andor, this is my most anticipated show to date. I don't know how you feel about this because Andor brought a lot. Let's face it, Andor brought a lot. Let's talk about the Acolyte a little bit, and then we'll get into High Republic Adventures here because actually we're having some really good segues here already right off the bat. So the Acolyte we know is filming. Are we going to get a full cast reveal at Celebration, and are we going to finally get a release date, or is Lucasfilm just going to be like spring 2024?
I think it's hard to say what they are going to actually give us at Celebration because there's a lot of things on the docket. I'm hoping they give us stuff for Acolyte, but I am going to assume that there's going to be a lot of Ahsoka focus since that's the next project coming up. So I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much. I hope they tell us a little bit more about Acolyte, but I don't even know if they're even ready. And I don't really want to know anything quite yet. I want them to focus on one thing at a time since they seem to struggle with marketing right now anyways.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Allie, your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of feel a similar way, especially like with what you said with where they might just shift their primary focus, because I remember just Kenobi was that big giant thing last year at Celebration where they like talked about other stuff, but that was like the overarching big focus. So I could say that like those other projects might get swept under the rug a bit more in comparison to Ahsoka, but I do hope that we get something besides, like you said, just like a date, in the sense that it's like I feel like you can put a lot of focus on those bigger things, but I want, like you said, you're this is a highly anticipated thing, and I know it is for a lot of people. So you got to give those kind of people who are excited for that kind of thing a little bit more too. Like maybe that's why they're going to Celebration. Everyone has their own things they want to see at the convention. So I hope, for their sake, that they get more out of that. So.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you both bring very good points about this, especially with Ahsoka being the primary focus, and then it'll probably be Ahsoka as the primary focus, and then Skeleton Crew as like secondary focus for that panel. But we'll get into that here in just a little bit when we go over the Celebration panel schedule. But let's talk about High Republic, not High Republic, Young Jedi Adventures, which is set during the High Republic, and how we have all fallen in love with Nubs.
Nubs Nation.
Nubs Nation represent.
Well, he's already swept the merchandise. This is going to be like Grogu 2.0.
Yeah.
It's just going to be Nubs everywhere, and I am here for it. I am here for it.
Well, I mean, you all know how I feel about Grogu, like being on everything. Like now I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a great character, and now I'm like, shit, it's Nubs gonna be everywhere from now on.
We're gonna see, just like they did with the grapes in the produce aisle, it's gonna be Nubs grapes, Nubs bananas. You're gonna see Nubs cheese.
Nubs cheese.
And then of
Eggo
course all
waffles.
Exactly. Now they've even got Eggo in on it. Like
they did for the Mandalorian.
This is just the beginning. The beginning.
Oh yeah.
But I do need to get that stuffed animal though. Like that's a need.
So let's talk about this. So we got 3 shorts this week for Young Jedi Adventures, which I only watched the first one, but I got to tell you, I loved it. It's so cute. It's so much fun. Nubs is actually a great character. But I love the dynamic between all of these characters. Thoughts on these shorts?
Well, I have to finish them. I was only able to watch the one, but from what I saw, I just think it's so fun. I think that when they lean into like, hey, Star Wars is for kids, and then they make something that's for kids, it's so fun. And it kind of, the animation style reminds me of the ditched Star Wars Detours project.
Yes.
And so I'm kind of excited to see where they go with this, if they're going to kind of go like that humor route at all or anything like that. But I'm excited. I think it's just going to be good fun. And I really hope the people who are like, is this canon? Why is it for kids? Like, I hope they just sit down and enjoy the ride, because that's ultimately what this is about.
Yeah, totally. Allie, your thoughts?
I feel like I didn't do my preparation. Oh no,
you're fine.
All my
fired.
All my focus this week was catching up on the Bad Batch, because I was chronically behind on the Bad Batch and I needed to catch up on it. So that was where my focus was this week. So I have not really looked into this part of Star Wars yet, but like you said, like I'm excited that they are making something like this, especially like you said, something that younger demographic can enjoy. And then of course we just pray that everyone else in the fandom can just let the kids enjoy it and doesn't crap on it too much.
Star Wars is for kids? What?
Oh no.
And see, that's my big thing, not to go on a tangent, but I'm just exhausted. I am exhausted from toxic fans who are incapable of understanding the demographic, incapable of understanding story arc, or stories or plot or build up or
Yeah.
character development or anything. And it's just exhausting because they criticize everything, even things that aren't necessarily like geared towards them. It's like, if you guys just don't want any more Star Wars, it'd be easier to say that than to shit on everything and make the rest of us miserable.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I go ahead, Allie. Go ahead. I want to.
Yeah, no, I just, because I am like on the younger side, I'm only like what, 21, almost 22. I've definitely more recently experienced that, where I like grew up on like the Twitter sphere and I was little and I saw those like adult people being stupid and I'm like, let me enjoy my Star Wars Rebels. Like, I'm a kid, let me enjoy it. And they just wouldn't let me enjoy it.
Yeah.
So like, I know what it's like to be on that side of things, and like, especially in like the online culture side of it. And it's just like, it makes it like, it really dampers your experience. And I don't want like younger fans who like start to merge onto the online sphere to have that same experience where they're just trying to watch their little shows and then everyone's like, ew, your show isn't Star Wars because your show is too kiddish or however you want to define it. Like, it's not only just like not letting them enjoy the experience, but it's trying to like invalidate the content that they're enjoying and consuming, which is like not nice, not good.
Well, I think that was one of the reasons why Resistance didn't do as well.
Exactly, their Resistance is another example. Exactly,
or as it should have, because it was a different animation style. It was definitely geared more towards a younger audience, especially the kids that were growing up on the sequel trilogy at that time. And who are we as fans to deny kids, that experience of enjoying that story? Honestly, I'm a huge fan of Resistance. I think it's a great show. I think it's super fun. But I'm going to tell you right now, if my 3-year-old nephew wants to sit down and watch Young Jedi Adventures, damn it, I'm going to sit down and watch Young Jedi Adventures with my 3-year-old nephew.
Yeah. And I think that's often like what's so forgotten. It's like at one point, the people who introduced us to Star Wars were young and had their first experience with it, and they were super stoked about it. And Return of the Jedi isn't as well received as the other two, and the discourse kind of started there. But when they were introducing their kids to Star Wars, I think it's important to realize that we need to just let them experience it and not put our commentary into it. We need to be better about like, okay, if we're going to show this, I need to be willing to hear what they are seeing, what they are experiencing, how they're feeling about what they're experiencing. And if my kid, my daughter's name is Leia, like literally named after a Star Wars character. But someday she might grow up and say, I don't like Star Wars. And it's not my job to disown her for that. And it's not my job to force it down her throat further. Like, and these fans they love Star Wars too. I'm not saying that they don't. And that's a big thing, is they love Star Wars in their own way. They just have twisted their critique and their thoughts to be their canon so that they can't enjoy what they are receiving. And they need to just learn to be quiet and let people experience things. Because like when the prequels came out, they weren't well received, but we didn't really have as much internet at that time. So we weren't hearing all the... So us prequel kids got to just enjoy it.
It was great. It was amazing. Like, in 99, my parents took me to the Phantom Menace opening weekend. And like, I loved it. I was like, this is amazing. Like, this is so cool. Then in 2002, Attack of the Clones, I was in high school. So of course, like, I could relate to Anakin Skywalker, like being taught all of these things. I mean, Ira, you were in school then too, so and Allie, you were.
I was like a baby, like a child. Kid.
But like
a little bit.
I think I am the oldest one here, but but it was one of those things. And then 2005, I graduated when Revenge of the Sith came out, so like that, I saw that movie 5 times that summer. Because I was like, this movie's amazing. This is so good. And the internet was very young back then. and
Mhm.
people like it wasn't as
It was the Wild
received.
West.
Oh, it was. It really, really was. We had a thing called dial-up back then.
It's not even that. It's just how uncensored it was,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
things that you would see, and people were
yeah.
just kind of starting to figure out, like, oh, I can put my opinions out there. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember those old school AOL message boards.
aim.
Yeah, AIM, yeah. Yeah, getting into those chats with your friends. But
Yup.
God, I feel old.
Don't. I was right there with you.
I know. But that to us is, that was our Star Wars essentially. I mean, we saw the original trilogy, like they did the re-releases and stuff in 97.
Mhm.
So, we got to see the special editions, but we didn't really like get the feel of Star Wars until the prequels hit. And
Mhm.
like Allie, I think of you as like being a Clone Wars kid.
Yeah, that's kind of where I definitely started to watch Star Wars. And like literally, like when Force Awakens came out, I was only like 14 or 13. Like I was still a baby teenager. Like I my
Milk
like young years were like the sequels and the Rebels
Mhm.
time and that, like you said, I said that's when the internet was really starting to emerge and stuff. Like I was
Yeah.
there when all like the toxic stuff about the sequels was going on. I was like a baby teenager. I was like
Mhm.
14, 15, 16. Like it was a lot to go through at like that point of my teenage years to like go
Yeah.
into like a fandom experience like that. And that's why like this subject matter is like so sensitive to me, because I really want to make sure people know that like it has that
Yeah.
effect. And that's a valid point that you guys made up too. Like people grow up. I'm gonna grow up. I'm already 21. I've grown up a lot since I joined Twitter. But
A
like
girl can drink now.
Yeah.
exactly. But
Twitter's
like
gonna drive you to drink.
yeah, but like the important thing is like just because I'm growing up and everyone is growing up, like we can't dictate how those younger people enjoy their Star Wars or what they should be enjoying or shouldn't be enjoying it.
Yeah.
And we each had our own experiences. Like you guys were more the prequel babies, and I was more that in between animation kind of period. Like we all had the stuff we grew up with, but just that doesn't mean that's all Star Wars should be or what Star Wars should only be. It should be whatever
Yeah.
those kids want to go enjoy in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree. And to see kids getting excited and getting ready to meet this new generation of Jedi and these new generations of characters is super exciting. And
Mhm.
us as Star Wars fans, we should give it a shot. We should check these shorts out, and we should check this show out. And honestly, if it's not for you, it's not for you. But
Exactly.
don't gatekeep somebody from enjoying this show.
Or
Because
harass them for
exactly.
enjoying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, I think that's the big thing is regardless of what Star Wars you want to enjoy, regardless of what you like, what you don't like, it is important that you allow the new generation to experience it the way that they need
Yes.
to and want to. And we should be supportive of that instead of trying to get people fired, canceled, trying to like dictate everything, because I promise you a lot of the story points I hear from how they would want things done are trash.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like, it would be nice if we could just let the story writers do what they're going to do and just be supportive for the future fans.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I will say this. This is why I love the High Republic community as much as I do, because they are like the purest fun fans. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like they are the ones that
Absolutely.
just like they're like Star Wars, bring it. Like let's go, like bring it on. And that's what I love about it. Plus, if something in the High Republic isn't for them, they don't bash it. They just accept it for what it is and they move on. And
Mhm.
another thing is that the High Republic has brought in many new Star Wars fans that have
Mhm.
never seen the movies or watched the TV shows. And they're getting to experience Star Wars through books and comics and manga. How exciting is that? Like,
Well,
yeah.
and here's the thing. There's a lot of people who, I know when I was younger, books were my escape.
Yep.
And I think it's really important to not trash on the books that we're being given, because storytelling through books and all of it, it's all valid. They are all stories that, regardless if they were part of the EU or a part of Disney's canon, again, you do not have to like everything,
Yep.
but you should not tell people what they should and shouldn't like, because I'm sorry, but I never thought in my time that the Jedi would bang. Okay.
Yeah.
I never thought we would have horny Jedi beyond what we see, with Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yeah.
They were kind of the bad boys about like
And Qui-Gon.
sexuality and Qui-Gon. But that's one of those things where like they're really going bold new places in the books, and people are so reluctant to just let the stories exist.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit, guys, what are you doing? Like, come on.
Yeah.
There is so much more than this dogma and lightsaber fights and pew pews. There is so much more.
We'll get to the Young Jedi Adventures merch here in just a second, but I want to ducktail off of what you said, Ira. One of my favorite moments in the High Republic comes from Kevin Scott's The Rising Storm, and it's when Elzar is doing the walk of shame while the Nihil attack on Valo is going on.
Exactly.
Like, that to me is one of my favorite bits, because he's like, oh, I can't believe I did what I did, but he's like, oh shit, now they're attacking. Like and it's great. It's great. Like, as a Star Wars fan, I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Like bring this on.
Right.
So let's get into what we're here to really talk about with Young Jedi Adventures, and that is the merch, especially our boy Nubs. Merch. So Gizmodo had this article break this week, and we have some Nubs plush coming out.
Hell yeah.
We get Vector toys, which I am super excited about, including a Nubs Vector.
You guys, did you see the books?
No,
there's
Young Jedi Adventure books.
Yeah, there's one called Get Well Nubs. Get Well Nubs. Oh my god. I'm so excited.
Okay.
It's a golden little golden book called Get Well Nubs.
Nice.
And there's also Jedi Training. What's this one? Yeah, there's a hardcover story book coming out as well called Jedi Training.
Nice. Our thoughts on all of this merch?
I am glad, because Resistance saw no merch in its entire run. Well, barely any. I know they had
couple
like
action
Gold Celebration and like a few little toys there and there, but like barely anything. Like, so I'll take merch from a kid demographic Star Wars show. Thank you. God.
Well, I get it. I think that I have a lot of thoughts about Resistance and the sequels and all of that, but I really think that they allowed the discourse behind reactions to the sequels to determine way too much for Resistance. But that's just me. Taking a look at the merch, though, there's that Lego set, the Tanu Jedi Temple set that's coming on June 1st, and I'm excited for it. I've seen people complaining that it's not the Coruscant Jedi Temple, and I'm like, bro, it's for Jedi Adventures. Can we stop it? I like the Yoda minifigure. Like, he's not my favorite, but look, you can't deny the white and gold robes are crispy.
Yeah. And I like the lightsaber hilts too, because they're like different colors now too, which is really cool.
That's one of my favorite parts about the High Republic, is the fact that they really, the Jedi look bougie as shit. The lightsaber hilts are swanky, like they're swanky. And again, it's not as like dogmatic and so I don't know. There's a lot that I love about the High Republic, but the way that they handle the Force and relationships and things like that is a breath of fresh air. And this merch is adorable. Do you see this training droid as well?
Yes.
Oh my god! And of course, I need a nubs. I need a nubs.
Yes, and then we also have the Kai Brightstar lightsaber duel with Tabor. That's really cool. And then we've also got Liz with the training droid, and she's got a purple lightsaber. How can you not love that?
Mm-hmm.
The
nubs backpack. That was another thing that absolutely got me. I was like, I might need that.
Isn't there a backpack and plush bundle too?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised they didn't put the books on this slideshow though. They put the t-shirts, but yeah, the books look so cute.
I wish that Nubs t-shirt was in my size. I'd rock a Nubs t-shirt.
Nah, I'll just lose a ton of weight. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, the Nubs backpack is great.
And so it looks like there's 3 books coming out, and 2 of them are like hardcover stories, like the Wookiee and the Porg one. So there's the one about Jedi training, and then there's one called Jedi Brave in Every Way, and this one has Yoga and Buryaga. That one there features both of them, and then the Get Well Nubs.
I think the Brave in Every Way is the one by Charles and his daughter.
This one, Rosemary and oh, that's so cute. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I didn't even realize it was by Charles and his daughter.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
So I guess the 3 of us can agree that Nubs supremacy is here to stay. We are going to get a bunch of Nubs merch. And that's going to be that.
It's the Nubs Renaissance.
It's the Nubsaissance.
I know. I tried to make that work. I was like, we could call it a. No, hold on. I was trying to think of how we could combine it, but Rubaissance doesn't sound right. And
we'll have to table this discussion for the after hours show. Oops. All right. So I think that we are excited for this. I can't wait to see this happen. The show will actually premiere on Disney Plus on May 4th. But it will also premiere on Disney Junior sometime this month. So get ready for that.
It's probably inevitable it'll end up on Disney Plus, since so much of Disney Junior ends up on the streaming side as well.
Yeah, we kind of are going through Blu-ray right now. Just saying. It's a fun show. Okay.
Bluey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching Bluey. My kid can't get enough.
It's fun.
More for me though.
So let's get into Celebration here real quick. We're gonna do the merch, the store exclusives, and then we'll get into the overall main panel schedule. If you want a more in-depth panel schedule, you can go to the Celebration app and everything, and then you'll be able to see all of the smaller panels that go on throughout the whole weekend. But we have a Union Jack X-Wing mug, which is pretty cool. There's an Ahsoka TV show t-shirt that you can get. Oh, this t-shirt's amazing. It's the Armorer's Forge t-shirt.
Yeah. I will say the merch this year in comparison to last year, there's a lot less of it.
Yeah.
And I think they really focused higher into apparel. I know a lot of people had issues with the Union Jack X-Wing just because they're like, that's kind of an oxymoron. But I know I was excited about the frickin' Max Rebo plush.
Yes.
But I'm also a Rebo stan, part of the Rebo Nation as well.
Rebo Nation. I love
Rebooty,
it.
if you
The
will.
rebooty. Yes. Plus we have a bunch of pins from like various Star Wars movies and TV shows as well. They always do big pin sets for Celebration. We have a Blue Harvest hat. Go on.
Oh, I was just saying, I'm surprised they didn't do an alphabet set this year. They've been doing an alphabet by different artists every year, and there isn't an alphabet series this year, which is shocking.
Yeah, I was also hoping for a High Republic pin set this year too.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have done one for Stella and Elzar and Avar. God, her name escaped me for a second. But yeah,
Not
you
a
could
real
have easily
fan.
Yeah, exactly. Suck.
You don't even know the character names.
Get out of your own live show. Go. Get. We also have a Death Star pattern button down shirt. We have an Emperor falling down the Death Star shaft bed.
Appropriate.
That's amazing. I love this. We have an Ewok Village terrarium. Ewok nesting dolls. Grogu's squid and chips and more. Okay. Have you guys ever wanted to go to an Imperial prison? Well, now you can with an Arkina 5 prison long sleeve t-shirt.
Don't even hate. I want it. All right.
Yeah, I know.
Don't even hate. That thing looks crispy. And I understand that some people probably think it's a little bit like, oh, why would you want to wear a prison shirt? Because it's cool.
It is cool. Never more than 12.
That's right.
We also have, this is my favorite, the Rancor bottle opener.
Yeah, that one's pretty sweet, actually.
Yes. Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary 3/4 sleeve raglan. We have a Return of the Jedi final battle patch. Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary denim jacket, which looks exactly from the 80s, and I'm here for it. Return of the Jedi souvenir jacket. A Revenge of the Jedi t-shirt, which Revenge of the Jedi was the original title for Return of the Jedi. And then we also have a Celebration Europe 2023 football jersey or soccer jersey, depending on where you live. And then we have some, we have a skateboard deck. That's pretty cool. And then you can get a C3PO candle glass holder and a tea set. So, yeah. How are we feeling about some of these exclusives?
I think the exclusive last year were better. I mean, these ones are so cool. What's here is cool, and you got to give credit to the people who did the designing. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there's some stuff here like the Blue Harvest stuff, Revenge of the Jedi. Obviously, I'm pin collector, so I want some of the pins and the Max Rebo plush. But like last year, I felt like there was more of like the stuffy stuff. Like oh my God, here's all these like novelty things. Like I'm still kicking myself that I didn't get that Dex's Diner sign because they sold out before I could. But like this year, the only things that I was like, oh, I could totally like want that would be like the plushies. I kind of like that terrarium, not gonna lie, and the nesting dolls are cute. But otherwise, it's a decent spread, but nothing that I'm like, somebody buy this and send it home for me.
My question here is Ember plush when?
Right. I have a feeling they'll do some more High Republic stuff after like Acolyte comes out. I think we'll really start to see like a big surge in High Republic merch like that. But for now.
Yeah. All right, so let's stick to Celebration here. We're going to go over the main panel schedule for Celebration. As I said, if you're looking for other smaller panels, you can head over to celebration.com and also use the Celebration app. So let's get into this here. Friday, April 7th, all of these times are local times to London. So, we're going to...
AKA Allie's not going to see a smidge at all because
Yeah.
by the time it's noon where I live, it's already 8 p.m. there.
Yeah. I get it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, you're fine. All right, so let's get into this. So starting at 11 a.m., so this is going to be about 6 a.m. my time here on the East Coast. 11 a.m. In London, we have the Lucasfilm Studio Showcase. So this says Star Wars Celebration returns, launching with a must-see showcase that will kick the weekend's festivities into hyperdrive. Lucasfilm's current crop of live-action filmmakers will be joined by special guests to discuss the many current and upcoming Star Wars adventures, including The Mandalorian, Andor, and more. So yeah, we're gonna get a good chunk of Ahsoka with this. We're gonna get some Skeleton Crew, a tease for Andor, probably a tease for more of the Mandalorian, and then we'll probably get a tease for the Acolyte.
Or Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get a teaser trailer for Ahsoka probably that they're only gonna show at the thing, and people are gonna bootleg it again.
Yeah, they won't leave us hanging. They never do.
No,
Never do.
But we'll see. But I think we'll get a definitive date for Ahsoka for this panel, I believe.
Yeah.
How are we feeling? Like, what are we thinking? Fall, probably September.
More than likely.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, or they could say August and then push it back to September like they did with Andor.
Or they'll really throw us for a loop and say something like July.
They could. They could just be like, oh, by the way, it premieres tonight. And you're like, what?
That also wouldn't surprise me, considering they did a premiere for Kenobi last year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did some sort of special screening, like for, I know that there's an Ahsoka panel lined up. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that. Like, here's a special first look at the first episode.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Our next panel is London Calling, designing Star Wars productions in the UK. Okay, cool.
I actually think that would be extremely interesting because there is a lot of the sets that are built in London, and I think that I'm a behind the scenes girly, so I'm all about it.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I mean, I love seeing all the photos from Pinewood. Honestly, I think they're really cool to see. So let's see here. We also have the making of Andor season 1. Definitely would watch that in a heartbeat because that looks like a lot of fun. Plus Andor was just so amazing. Okay, so we do have, moving on to Saturday now. First panel of the day is Ahsoka. That is at 11 a.m. This is where you're actually going to get the release date, probably, and footage from the first episode, if they do it. But yeah, so this is where we're going to get the release date. The next one, I believe this is where we're also going to get the Thrawn and Ezra announcement of who is finally playing them.
Okay, so didn't they release Ezra? I think we're really just waiting on Thrawn.
Oh yeah, we did get an Ezra release.
Yeah. So I have two thought processes to this. My first one is, obviously I would love to know who they're going to have playing Thrawn because we love Thrawn in this house. My second thought process is, don't tell us anything. Don't tell us anything. Don't give us anything to shit on. Don't give the fans anything to complain about. Don't tell us. Just let them show up on screen.
Yeah. I would actually be okay with that too. However, I feel we're getting Thrawn at the end of this season of The Mandalorian now. And we're going to see him. I really do. And I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. So I'm also in the same boat with you, Ira, where it's like, don't show anything. Just give me a release date. spend 90 minutes talking about the release date or an hour talking about the release date.
Right. Well, and I really think it would behoove them to keep some stuff close to the chest just because of how reactive the fandom is. And there's already a lot of hype behind Ahsoka, but I think revealing Thrawn too soon, especially in Mandalorian, would just give me a little bit of the ick.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just because I think they're not focusing on the Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I agree with that. Next,
Allie was going to say something.
Yeah, sorry, Allie. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's fine. I think like I agree to some level, but the only reason I think that they might try to include more, maybe not Thrawn necessarily, but like just more on the level is because they already did like a first look at the Mando panel last year, which again, like we were getting into, that Mando panel really became an Ahsoka Book of Boba panel too. And also like you said, it could not be like a cast reveal as much as it's just in there because like they kind of did that with like Sabine last year. Well, Sabine, they actually announced the actress, but at first they just showed it in like the first look. So who knows how much they'll go into that. I think if it's anything like last year, they might not even show an episode unless they do a screening, because like what happened with Mando last year is we just got like an extended trailer that they saw at the Lucasfilm showcase. Like, it was like an extended version, and then they gave us like a first look kind of behind the scenes kind of thing. So like maybe they won't show too much. And I also agree, I think it really depends on like what they have planned for Mando, because like you said, if they're gonna show like Thrawn or something at the end of Mando, it would be kind of weird to suddenly announce it in ties to an Ahsoka show. Like if this was a Mando / Ahsoka panel, maybe, but I don't know. It's like you said, it's up in the air. Who knows? But the way they handled that panel last year has me like kind of hoping that they might keep some stuff a bit less. Because they showed a lot of, I felt they showed a lot of restraint at the Mando panel last year. I was expecting like the fact that learning that trailer was already what was seen plus like a couple extra scenes. I was shocked by that. I was like, oh, okay, so this has already been seen by like a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just speculating for right now because we're also not going to be there. So,
right.
We'll see as people are reacting to this. Our next one here is bringing worlds to life. The concept artist of ILM. I love this. I love this panel so much. This is going to take you through all of the concept art to for Star Wars and so many other franchises, which is really cool. Then next up, this is the panel that we all want to go to. This is the High Republic panel, which will I know
it'll be epic.
Yes. We will get some phase 2 stuff. Because keep in mind, Cataclysm hits Tuesday. So actually, Cataclysm and Quest for Planet X both hit Tuesday. So there might be spoilers in this panel for those books. So just keep that in mind, my friends. And then we are going to get a sneak peek at phase 3. Thoughts?
I'll let Allie go first.
That was what my cryings were. I wish I could be there. It was so fun to go to the High Republic panel last year, and I'm so sad not to be there in person this year. But I'm super excited. Outside the fact that I am a bit behind on the High Republic again, so I feel like I shouldn't read too much into it because then I'll get spoiled probably on some things. So it's like I'm excited, but I also need to like pull major restraint that day to not look too much into it because I don't want to get spoiled.
Yeah.
I'm somebody that's weird where I actually kind of like spoilers because, and I'll tell you one reason why. I am too damn busy, and I don't like being behind.
That's fair.
And so for me, I'm like, give me the spoilies. Tell me what I'm missing so that when I get caught up, I understand, and then let me see the sneak peek at phase 3. Like, I'm here for it because I just want to be hyped. I love that feeling of being hyped and being excited. I like being involved in it. That's obviously a panel that I wish that I could also be in because it's High Republic and all the authors are going to be there. I can only imagine. I missed so many panels last year. Next, so 2025, 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. You best believe
Yeah.
Best believe.
So that brings us to another anniversary panel. The panel after that, we have 40 years of Return of the Jedi. Ming-Na Wen is actually going to be hosting this panel, which I think is awesome.
Mhm.
Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie. I love that movie so much because of the redemption story and getting the band back together and everything. And it's a great story. Plus, Princess and the Scoundrel really elevates that story to a higher level too.
Love
So
my girl Beth.
yes. Then we also have the Star Wars Creator Cosplay Workshop, which is pretty cool, especially if you are a cosplayer. We are getting the first 2 episodes of Young Jedi Adventures being screened at Celebration. Christina Ariel is going to be hosting that panel.
Cute.
Yes. Next up, after that, we get the Hasbro Star Wars and Indiana Jones panel. Of course, we're probably going to get some indie news here at Celebration as well.
Of course.
Yeah, because they did it last year. So I have a feeling that they're going to do it again.
Probably.
Yeah.
Which means he might make an appearance. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, as much as he doesn't like Star Wars, he loves indie, and I think any chance for him to do promotion for that, he's gonna take Lucasfilm up on. So, who knows? But obviously, he's not into doing signings or things for us. So,
yeah. By the way, if the stream cuts off at any minute, it's because it's really super windy here, so we could lose stuff. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, that would be really cool to see Harrison for that. Plus, I'm always up to see Black Series and Vintage Collection because they're cool figures. Then we have the Creature Cantina, which is all about droids and creatures and aliens, which is pretty cool. Then Clone Wars 15-year anniversary panel. That's right, the Clone Wars is 15 years old. Do we feel old yet?
I do.
I started this podcast feeling not too bad, and as we keep going, I'm like, my God, I might as well be dust.
Let's move on to Sunday here. We have Villains of the Sequel Trilogy, which is pretty cool. That's going to have Ian McDiarmid, Andy Serkis, and Gwendolyn Christie. I would also love to see Donald Gleason come into this one, especially as Hux. I would love to see that.
Yes.
Behind the Magic, the visual effects of Andor.
Yeah.
Then we have. Yes, that will be very
something.
good. Yes. Then we have a Dark Horse Comics panel, Hyperspace Stories, which if you haven't been reading Hyperspace Stories, you should. And also the High Republic Adventures will be with that. A look back at Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, Indira Varma, and Vivian Lyra Blair will be there, especially and including Deborah Chow. Then we have Beyond the Spires, Making of Tales from Galaxy's Edge.
Okay.
Cosplay competition. Funko Collect Across the Galaxy. Maybe they'll show. Yeah.
That's gonna make the wallet hurt.
Yes.
Every time. I'm just like, man. I'm like, nah, I don't care about Funko anymore. And then it's like, oh well, I see what you're doing there.
Then we have Disney Parks, where Star Wars comes to life. That's going to be about all of the Star Wars things coming to Disney Parks and updates to all of the Disney Parks Star Wars stuff. Then we have Star Wars Animation Game Night. This is going to be a game show featuring voice actors from Star Wars Animation. And then we have the Lucasfilm Publishing Stories from a Galaxy Far, Far Away, which, come on, we all want to be in on that one because it's books. Then we have the Bad Batch on Monday.
If they don't do a moment of silence during the Bad Batch panel, I will riot.
Yes, me too.
Well, unless you know who's not actually, No.
Yeah, I will.
We're not going to talk about this.
We're not.
We're talking about it. It's sad, and I'm mad at Sid.
Fine.
We're angry. We are very angry.
I need you to understand something, okay? Pung Krell used to be #1 on my shit list. No
Oh.
more.
Oh.
Sid.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh.
So let's move on to a lighter thing here. The next panel, which will be Marvel Comics presents Star Wars. Then we have from screen to tabletop Star Wars Visions Volume 2, which is going to be amazing to see all of the upcoming previews for that. Then we have Star Wars Galaxy Sized Collecting in a Micro World with Jazzwares. We're going to get Micro Galaxy Squadron
Sweet.
news, which that is a great set, by the way. They're super, super cool. Then we have Doug Chang designing Obi-Wan Kenobi and The Mandalorian. If you're a behind the scenes person, this is where you want to be. And then the Celebration Europe closing ceremony.
FOMO is real, y'all.
Yep.
FOMO is real. I am the sad.
Yes.
This is an incredible lineup. And any chance to see Ewan McGregor on the stage with Hayden Christensen.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Bo-Katan show.
Yeah.
Because that's what this is. That's what this is now. And honestly, I'm here for it. I love it. I think it's amazing. We're going to be talking about Chapter 21, The Pirate. So if you have not seen it yet, well, what have you been doing? I know some people are busy, but come on, see it. We're going to get into spoiler thoughts here. So Ira, then Ally, thoughts on The Pirate, and then we're going to get into an in-depth discussion here.
I would say my generalized thoughts are that I enjoy watching The Mandalorian. I enjoy a lot of aspects of it, and I think that it gives like that Clone Wars feel where every episode is a different adventure.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are struggling in a couple of areas, and I know that people who absolutely love The Mandalorian are like, "Hurr," but I think that they have kind of gotten into this habit of focusing on other stories and making The Mandalorian a side character, and his character development is kind of at a very vast standstill because of how they're handling the other characters in the show, and the storytelling aspect behind it is suffering for it.
Okay.
But the episode was still fun. Like, I still enjoy it. I still like it. I just think
I totally get it. I totally get where you're coming from, and I'm going to actually circle back to that here in just a second. Ally, general thoughts on The Mandalorian before we get into the breakdown?
I feel like I'm gonna have a bias throughout the rest of The Mandalorian. I am gonna create such a double standard for the rest of this show, because I was like on my high horse being like, oh my god, Din deserves the attention, Din needs more character development, boo Grogu for taking the spotlight, now Bo-Katan's getting the spotlight. I'm like, oh my god, my girl Bo-Katan's getting the spotlight. I need to hold myself back and realize that it's the same situation just because it's Bo-Katan instead of Grogu. But in all honesty, I think that would be honestly my main point of like what we should discuss, and more of that like what needs to be worked on element, because like overall I feel like I really did enjoy this in the sense that I think what I really pulled away from this, to keep it short, is I feel like other than season 2, which for me bounced around a lot more, this really felt like it was drawing in like 3 to 4 to 5 elements that they started in the beginning of the season and even in season 2 and bringing it together. And I just really appreciated seeing that in this episode, because I feel like lately that the show had just been like next thing. Like you kind of talked about that last time I was on about like the Luke stuff and how quickly that was like done. So like stuff with like Grief Karga and the stuff with the New Republic and the stuff with like what was set up between Grief Karga and Din, and just like small little things like that all sprinkled throughout, and how that's like kind of culminating. I really did appreciate that, and it made it feel like the show was becoming more connected, and I like the direction. Like I said, I do agree that Din as the main character does need more attention, but I am still very, very happy that the Mandalorian side of it is getting the spotlight it is, because people have talked about, like, well, Din is like the main character. Obviously, the title "The Mandalorian" can mean all Mandalorians in a way too. So I am glad that at least is still getting a lot of focus in the show now.
I you know, I'm with both of you here, and like I'm in the middle because like I love what they're doing with the Mandalorian stuff in this season. Like they're finally building on the story that we got in Clone Wars and Rebels, and they're finally like really focusing on the Mandalorians themselves. I will say this: I love the fact that Grogu is taking a back seat in this show, honestly, because to me, I think it's time to focus on Din and the other Mandalorians. Not saying that Grogu isn't a Mandalorian, but you know, we're focusing, like, the adults are talking, and we're actually focusing on the adults talking. It feels like. I will say this. Going back to what you said, Ira, about like how it's kind of sidelining Din in his own show. They did that with Boba Fett, and that was one of the biggest complaints that we had with the Book of Boba Fett, was that Din Djarin and Luke and Ahsoka shared way too much of the spotlight in a show about Boba Fett.
And that's here's my thing. I think that season 1 of The Mandalorian was my favorite because they truly did focus on Din and this quest of reuniting Grogu with his people, and there was Moff Gideon, all these original characters. Season 2 felt to me like a cameo fest. I understood where they were going story-wise, and I am not going to downplay that at all. It just felt like a cameo fest. And then to have Luke Skywalker come in the end and take Grogu, just for that to not really mean anything. And for them to like be trying to justify like the timelines and things like that, when even the timeline doesn't really add up, even with what they said. So it's like there's just a little bit of disjointedness that's happening with this show. I understand why they're trying to focus on it and hype it up so much, because it is the baby of Filoni and Favreau, and they're really passionate, and I have no doubt about that. And I'm not saying I do not trust them. I just think that they're leaning really heavily into certain aspects and having a lot of fun with that and doing it well. And, you know, I'm also happy about Bo-Katan, and that, as you said, Allie, things are coming to a culmination. We are starting to see things like, okay, you mentioned this earlier. Now it makes sense. We are seeing the payoff. And of course, it always pays to be patient. I just think that they're developing so much of Bo-Katan's character that it feels like she is hijacking the Mandalorian. And I'm sure they're going to announce a Bo-Katan show at some point. I mean, I would be very shocked if they didn't. But if they do keep her as a main character in The Mandalorian, how are they really truthfully going to balance these two storylines when they haven't even given The Mandalorian, they haven't given Din Djarin enough character development? Because here's my main point behind that, okay? He took his helmet off for Grogu, and we saw him be extremely vulnerable, and he took the helmet off for Grogu, and he showed, like, I am willing to break the creed for this creature that I saved. And his action had a consequence. He was now an apostate. All right, he went and bathed in the living waters, put his helmet back on. Well, suddenly that rule doesn't matter for Bo-Katan. And so it's just like there's this double standard of like, bro fell in the waters. Nearly drowned for nothing. He put his helmet back on just for her to be like, you know what? That rule really only applies to like just you. And there's just some things that I'm sure we'll see the payoff for it. I'm sure we'll see the story play out. It's just that in this moment, he's starting to feel a little bit more one-dimensional. He doesn't get injured very easily because of the Beskar. We're not seeing any actions to his consequences that really change anything. He just shows up, saves the day, leaves. So I'm just looking forward to more. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just I do want to say 3 quick things, and I'm not trying to argue on anything. Like I said, I completely agree with a lot of this stuff.
Fight me, Allie. Let's go.
No. I just want to bring up a few things I did notice while watching the episode that could I did still appreciate in terms of where he stands. I do agree that he's getting lost in the fray a bit more. But two things I did notice that I appreciated was one, when he first showed up to the Mandalorian planet, I was getting worried that while he might have found them, especially when he said, "I found you because of the droids," I was worried, oh god, he just wants recruit Mandalorians because Mandalorians are cool. But no, they did remember it's Din, it's your connection to Greef Karga, and it's your relationship to him and helping as Din, and I appreciated that. Two, I feel like Din is finding certain development in the sense that I feel like his indoctrination in the cult more, while he did talk to the armor in the first 2 seasons, I feel like he was a lot more silent and a lot more reserved and let people speak for him more. And I did appreciate that in this episode he did step up in front of everyone, gave a speech, and not only gave a speech, but really again tied certain things together. And in that sense of where Mandalore is going forward, he was a big step in that too. It wasn't just Bo-Katan. It was, I think, because of my experience in this stance, that it's time for us to move forward and live on a planet where we can exist and have a home. And because I've seen that Greef Karga gives me a home. He's my friend and he's offered this land to me. And I did appreciate that element of it, where it's it wasn't just, he wasn't just spoken for. I appreciate that he still had moments in this episode where this is my decision and I have power in this story and helping make these decisions. And they reflected that. They when they were coming up, they're like, oh yeah, Din, you did help me and you fought for me and stuff. So they are still recognizing what Din's done for them, and he's still having a say in that. And I did appreciate that. And then the third quick thing I was going to say, because it does connect to what we talked about last time, is that is the annoying, stupid part about the Mandalorian being their big overarching project to spur up all the shows, is you're going to have all these other characters becoming main characters in this show because it's become the through line show to get to a Bo-Katan show. It's become the show to just lead off to other shows. So maybe when Bo-Katan gets their show, maybe it'll be more about Din again. Maybe it'll be more about Din again when Bo-Katan gets their show. But that's the sad part, is these characters like Ahsoka are going to come in, go off to their show, so then it's more about Din, but here comes another character to take the spotlight and then go off and have their show. So and
that's what scares me, especially about the focus on Carson Teva in this episode as well, because I have a feeling they're slowly backdoor piloting Rangers of the New Republic with Carson Teva as the main character for that show. Not saying that I didn't like it. Believe me, bring on all the Carson Teva, because that he's an amazing character. And by the way, Zeb, come on. How did we not all lose our shit?
Oh, yeah. I was like, shut up. That's him. It's got to be him.
And he looked fantastic. He looked so good. Yeah. Bring on Zeb Aurelios. Seriously, give me a Rangers of the New Republic series with Carson Teva, Zeb, and Cobb
Callus.
And Callus.
There you go.
And you know what? I guarantee you, Zeb's space husband Callus was in that building too.
I want to circle back super duper quick to Ellie's second point. When you were talking about how Din did step up and say a bunch of stuff and it actually made sense, I totally agree. I'm not, and I'm not being I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to be combative. I'm not trying to be anything. I just think that his character is developing slowly. Yeah. So while we're seeing these baby steps of him finding his place and learning how to speak and understanding that I'm no longer an apostate, I've done all this stuff, I have a place to speak here among the covert. I just think they could be doing more instead of using the Mandalorian as the gateway to all the other shows. We saw with Boba Fett, Ahsoka, all that stuff. Yeah, exactly. So we're on the same wavelength. I totally get it.
Yeah. Well, I also want to circle back to this as well. So, if you are really going to put the focus on Bo-Katan now, it's time to put the Darksaber in her hands.
Yes. That is the other thing. What is going to happen with the Darksaber? It's all of a sudden that doesn't matter. So she can walk both ways. She's supposed to rule Mandalore, but Din's the one just pocketing the Darksaber.
And I'm sorry. I hate Din Djarin with the Darksaber. I hate him with the Darksaber. Yeah. Because it doesn't make sense to me. It just feels like it's a MacGuffin for Bo-Katan. And that to me it's stupid. Seriously, have a ritual combat on your brand new land and have Bo-Katan win the Darksaber. it's time to give her the Darksaber. If we're going this direction, it's time to give her what she deserves.
Well, and it just makes it feel like for me, it leaves a lot of open doors and a lot of open questions. How is any of this going to matter? Who is going to end up with the Darksaber?
Yeah.
If Din is holding on to it forever, is Bo going to kill him? I mean, we don't know Bo's real intentions right now. Obviously, she's a badass. I love her. Girly is everything. Like, yes.
Yeah.
I don't care if she does kill Den to get the Darksaber. Like, just figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
I feel like part of it, maybe this is just me giving that part of it too much credit, where I feel like part of it is like, maybe like by getting them all together, it'll help. Because here's something I think about that, because everyone keeps saying Bo-Katan only claimed the saber for blood, but if you rewatch Rebels, the whole reason she gets it in the first place is because Sabine recognizes her strong leadership qualities and how she mentored Sabine and how she like helped show Sabine the good way to lead. It wasn't just because I take it first a team. So I feel like maybe if you have more people around, they'll actually realize that she's taking it for more than just her stupid. I'm sorry.
No.
Go off, Queen.
Yeah,
go
So
off.
annoying that
go
like
for
everyone's like, she just claimed it for blood. I'm like, watch Rebels. That is not the only reason. She did not want that saber in Rebels. She did not want it. Sabine had to like hardcore convince her to take it. So.
Well, and what I think is interesting, to go off of that real quick, is she was willing to accept the Darksaber from Sabine without having to win it in combat. Why wouldn't Din just give her the fucking lightsaber? Like,
it's time.
Like, he has expressed no interest in ruling. He has not really expressed an interest in leading. No. Him and his son are just doing their father-son thing. They've got their fancy sports car now. Like, they're doing this stuff. Like, I feel like he should maybe have a conversation and like give her the Darksaber, because look at how like capable she is with it as well. She was wielding it like a Jedi. She understands it.
And that to me is like, if you're gonna focus on this, give her the damn sword already. Just do it. And just give her the damn sword and give her own show. Like, if we're doing this, just do it. Like, and then focus back on Din Djarin and him raising Grogu and doing paintball tournaments with other kids, and and flipping over kids, and well, at least they're not on Dinosaur Planet anymore, or in Space Australia, I should say. But like, come on, like, seriously, it's time to give her the saber. But let's focus on the pirate here, and then I also want to focus on the New Republic real quick. Like, let's focus on the main conflict here. We have Carson Teva, who recruits the Mandalorians after unsuccessfully convincing the New Republic that they need to step in on Navarro. He recruits the Mandalorians to come in and take the pirates out and save the day, which that battle was amazing. And it was really cool to see Mandalorians use military tactics to take out these pirates. Let's talk about the big scenes here. Daddy Vizsla coming in to save the day, as well as but most importantly, the armorer coming in with hammers and tongs and beating up pirates.
Just completely unbothered, like a queen, just walking in with a hammer. Like, I could not care about your little space pellets. Like, she was amazing. And all I'm going to say about the New Republic, because I appreciate that the show is showing that like these transition periods are not going to be good. They're still figuring it out, and they're going to follow the structure of the Empire a little bit. All the bureaucracy bullshit. I have about as much faith in the New Republic as I have in our country right now. So like for me, I'm just waiting to see how they kind of come into their own, because I think that's something we realized in the sequels as well, is they haven't figured out how to be a government again since the Empire. So
And Bloodline sets that up really well too. Like
Mhm.
Bloodline does a great job setting that up. But can we talk about Tim Meadows and his sassy astromech droid for a second? Because that scene was amazing, where he's like, "Don't put that on my desk," and the droid's like, "Well, screw you, I'm going to do it anyway." Like, just puts it on the desk. And who better to play this Colonel than Tim Meadows, the ladies' man? For us 90s and 2000s Saturday Night Live kids.
Yup.
Yep. Like I
Yeah.
kind of wanted him to have a thing of Cavassier. Like, just for a second. Yeah, just be like, you're on you're on with Leon Phelps, the ladies band. Anyway, so but yeah, like you can see the New Republic, like you said, is going through these growing pains here. Um, and you can also see how they're easily manipulated too, because Elia Kane is in that scene where Carson Teva is trying to convince the New Republic to step in. Okay.
And
Is
she had
she?
everything to do with Moff
Oh
Gideon.
yeah.
She is definitely still on the dark side. Like,
Oh yeah.
I do not trust that though. Like, absolutely not.
Now, my question is, because I brought this up last week, she's got to be with the First Order. Like we have to see the First Order starting to rise here.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, with the Moff Gideon escape, because now let's shift focus to that real quick. With the Moff Gideon escape, is Thrawn behind the Moff Gideon escape?
No.
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 You think
I know people are speculating that because of how the TIE fighters swooped in on Bo-Katan's castle. It's not Thrawn. I don't think Thrawn gives a flying fig about Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
I think anybody who understands the character of Thrawn would probably agree to some extent. I think that Elia is probably primarily behind Moff Gideon being taken because she's so involved with schedules.
Yeah.
She seems to just know where things are. She seems to know all this stuff, and Carson Teva is on to that.
Now, my question here is, because I just mentioned the First Order, could Pride be involved in the whole Moff Gideon thing?
Here's the thing: we met Pride in episode 9, so I don't know too much about him. Yeah. I mean, I think that if anybody's going to have anything to do with it, aside from potentially Pride, it would maybe be one of the Huxes, if not Armitage, but maybe
Brendel.
And it's a possibility, but I think there's some stuff behind the scenes that we're not privy to yet. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're wrong, like, that's cool too. Like, I'm not saying no, it can't be that. Like, I'm just saying I don't think that's where they're going. Like, it could potentially be other Mandalorians left over from like the Shadow Watch or something like that, because they mentioned the Beskar.
It could also be Paz Vizsla working behind the scenes of the Armorer and the Children of the Watch too.
Potentially, but how would he doesn't have a ride, and they're so secret. I don't think he would risk. That doesn't seem very Mandalorian of him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like there's something that has not been revealed yet that is the reason behind all of it that's working with Elia Kane.
I think we're going to find out this Wednesday. We're going to start finding this stuff out this Wednesday, I think, because we have 3 episodes left, so we have to build to this finale, and this is how we start to do it.
I'm calling it now. Luke Skywalker's coming back.
Oh my god!
Oh, please no!
Last episode, Grogu, come back.
Grogu leaves Din Djarin again for a second time. And then Book of Boba Fett season 2 happens.
And then the second half is just Din getting him back.
I swear, if they pull another Grogu gets captured, I will throw my laptop across.
Please, no. I am tired of this kid getting captured. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this. You know what? You keep his ass on the planet. You keep his ass with Grief Karga, and you put his ass in the school with the kids so he can eat his space cookies, while Big Daddy Din goes off to fight. Like, that's what you do.
Just pull a Qui-Gon, stay in that cockpit.
Yeah, Qui-Gon told me to stay in that cockpit, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Well, and here's the thing: if Grogu did train with Luke for 2 years, like they're trying to say, why is he not doing more Force things?
Yeah, why is he holding back?
Which, you know what? I'm not even gonna like. Let me retract my statement because that sounds very toxic to say. He could still have PTSD from the whole Order 66 thing. He could be afraid to use his powers. I understand that. He probably doesn't fully understand everything just because of how young he is. Mm-hmm. I totally get that. But like at some point we need to see Grogu and Din develop.
Yeah. Yeah, instead of him like putting him in front of other Mandalorian kids and saying, "Have at it, kid."
That was hilarious.
It was.
That was so funny. He was like, "All right, kid, time to fight," and he's like, "I just want to play with my rock crabs." Like,
he just picks them up, and Grogu's like, "No, like these are mine."
Well, you could hope because like it's like, oh, the Mandalorians are slowly coming to the light now, aka Din slowly coming to the light. Hopefully, you could hope that Grogu will begin to parallel that as well and emerge more. But like you said, who knows? He's got some PTSD. I don't know what's going on with him, honestly.
You know, it's like you know what? Kind of wish Kelleran Beck was there because like I just want him to hang out with Kelleran while the Mandos go do their own thing. You know what I mean? Like like this guy saved Grogu. Like let him hang out with him for a bit. You know, like well, Kelleran could be dead for all we know. But
hey, don't you say that.
Shut that down real quick.
He is safe on Naboo. All right,
hanging out with Jar Jar.
You're damn right.
Street performance thing.
You put some respect on Kelleran Beck's name, all right?
I didn't say anything.
No, I'm gonna be defensive. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, fine. He's hosting game shows, okay?
You're damn right.
That's what he's doing on Naboo. He's hosting game shows.
He is safe.
Yes.
Yeah. And if they say otherwise, it is not canon.
Him and Jar Jar have a comedy act every Friday night at the cantina.
That's right.
Yes.
Although I think it would be really cool if they did have Kelleran Beck come later in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Like if somehow his path with Grogu crossed again, I think that would be quite neat.
And I think like if anybody was the one to train Grogu in the Jedi arts, like Kelleran Beck would be the one, I think, to like really get through to Grogu because Kelleran Beck was a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Like he focused more on teaching than fighting and everything.
And there also is like that bond of trust in him saving him kind of thing. Like
yeah,
that bond of trust.
So I have one more question about Kelleran Beck, and then we're going to start to wrap things up here. So Kelleran Beck is known as the Sabered Hand, and I know this happened last episode or 2 episodes ago, but I don't care because I want to talk about it. Kelleran Beck is the Sabered Hand. Did he study under Porter Engle?
Oh.
Where does it line up timeline wise? I mean, I'm not gonna ever be one to shoot down a cool thought process like that because we stay on the High Republic. So
yeah, and keep in mind when we meet Porter Engle in Phase 1, it's 150 years after the whole Blade of Bardata thing. So we don't know how he ages.
And he is a different species. Like he's humanoid, but he is a different species. So he could, well, let's just see what Wikipedia has to say.
Yeah.
I am enticed.
Yeah, because I think that would be really interesting to see him develop his combat style from Porter Engle. So, but anyway, any other thoughts on the pirate besides the first mate of the Corsair looked like Shmi?
Well, yes, that. I think it's hilarious that what's his face? I'm forgetting his name right now. I think it's hilarious that the one pirate was like, "It's been real, deuces." And then I also think it's funny that old Greg died, or at least they're implying that he died. Gory and Shard, they call him old Greg.
Old Greg.
He drinks blue milk from a boot. But I
kind of want to see that now.
So do I. I'm kind of low-key hoping he's not dead, but that ship exploded many times.
Yes.
So we'll see. I thought it was just overall really fun. I always appreciate seeing the dog fights. You know, even though they do it every episode, I still think it's fun to watch. But I'm interested to see if the pirate plot line comes back again.
Yeah.
Maybe old Greg has a brother named Young Greg.
It's probably like Craig instead of Greg.
Gorian and Dorian Shard.
Yeah, exactly. This is our other brother, Ethan.
Exactly. Okay, so apparently I did go to the Wikipedia because I love them. But the Porter Engels species, the Ikruki, lives for centuries.
Yeah.
So your theory could be correct, and I think that's pretty neat.
I think it would be really cool tie-in. Like, I think it would be really cool because you could definitely deepen the lore and deepen this universe even more. Because it's like, oh man, there were High Republic Jedi around during the twilight years of the Republic. Like, I mean, we know Yoda was there, but let's not get into his state of mind.
Yoda.
Yeah. Anyway, any other thoughts on the pirate? I know that we didn't really get to the pirate stuff too much.
Because they're pirates. They're just pirates.
Yeah.
There's also not too much to say. I mean, they're little shits, and they were handled appropriately.
Yeah.
Like,
and you know what? This episode had enough explosions that you would have thought that it had been directed by Michael Bay. Just saying. You know?
Oh, there is one thing I want to say.
Yeah.
This coming episode on Wednesday is directed by Bryce Dallas Howard. Bryce Dallas Howard. I tongue-tied a little bit there. But yeah, so she always does incredible stuff when she directs. So like I am extra excited simply because of her being the director.
We are in for a treat.
Amen.
This week. Yeah, so we don't have Bad Batch this week, but it's okay. We'll light a candle for our boy. And we'll pour one out for our boy. You know, okay, real quick. I wish that it had been Echo instead of Tech.
Man, I wish it was none of them.
I do too.
See, I wish it was none of them, and you also have to consider the fact they already faked out Echo's death once. Yeah. So I feel like fans wouldn't have hit the same way.
They would be like, he already died.
He already lived. Like, he already died once.
But they're already doing that with Tech anyways. No,
I know. Well, I know, but like in the moment,
didn't see a body.
Like, in the moment, like you're. I feel like it hits different. Well, sure. There's plenty of people saying, and including me in some level, saying, "Oh, it'd be a lie." But like, I feel like because Echo already went through that, it takes away even more than it would for another character.
So real quick, love the Krennic stuff. I thought that was an amazing cameo, and then hearing that Rogue One music just made me so happy because Kevin Kiner is a genius.
Yes. I love the Kiner brothers.
Yes.
But yeah, I wish that it wasn't Tech especially because they were giving him a freaking girlfriend.
And just character development. Don't use character development only as a means to an end, people. Jeez, I'm sorry.
Don't use character development to make a death hurt more. And also, all I can think about is at some point, Omega's going to have to tell Crosshair, and the Batch is going to have to tell Fee. And both of those things make me want to sob into a pillow. Because Crosshair obviously cared about Tech.
Yeah.
Like, just based off of their other interactions. And Tech was willing to save his brother despite all of Crosshair's bullshit.
Yeah.
He was still willing to go after him. And I am just a mess. I am sad about it.
Me too. It's going to be a long wait for season 3, my friends.
No.
It's going to be a wait.
I'm going to need it next year. I'm going to need it this month.
But I will say this: this season was one hell of a ride. I did love that Tech got his Fast and Furious moment. I thought that was great, and I loved seeing all the memes with that. I thought that was a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's our show this week. Yeah, everybody, I hope that you all have a wonderful week. Next week is our celebration from home show, so get ready for that. I have no idea what we're going to talk about outside of all of the news from Celebration. It's probably going to be mostly High Republic, but with a little bit of Ahsoka. But yeah, that's it. Anything anybody else have? No. All right. So that is going to be it for us this week. I hope that you all have a wonderful week. We will see you next week. Bye.
May the force be with you.